Hello my fellow MCs, Primo here. Xuan is just around the corner, and you can make the argument that she's the most complete character to ever be released in the game. Having a top tier element, but also support, defense, and attack capabilities, she will provide immense value for any account. Today, we are going over her kit, best Lightcones, traces, relics, and team comps. So let's sit back, grind some Stellar Jade, and let's talk about it.
Cloud Knight generals are all such a hassle.
As I mentioned in the intro, Xuan could be the most complete character in the game with all of the different dimensions of her kit. Her basic attack deals quantum damage to a single target, which scales off her HP. This will be used quite a bit as the effects of her skill last for 3 turns. Her skill is the primary source of value for her kit, as upon use it will activate the Matrix of Prescience. Under this effect, all allies will have a portion of their damage taken reallocated to Xuan. This effect is done before damage is taken by a shield, so the shield on the targeted character will decrease by the amount not reallocated to Xuan. Not only does her skill provide a defensive boost for your team, but it will also provide HP and crit rate increases for all of her allies. Like I mentioned in my Xuan meta video, this is huge for general survivability, but also for characters that would like to have that extra crit rate boost to round out their damage output. Her ultimate is an AoE attack that deals quantum damage based on her HP stat. This will also give her 1 stack of HP restoration for her talent. Misfortune Avoidance allows allies to take less damage from enemy attacks, as well as give Xuan a self-healing ability. When her HP falls to 50% or less, this will trigger her HP restoration effect, which heals her based on the percentage of HP she has already lost. A total of 2 stacks can be held at one time, and upon entering battle, she has 1 trigger count by default. Her technique is definitely one of the most useful ones in the game, as it creates a barrier for 20 seconds that protects you from enemy attacks outside battle. If you do enter battle with the barrier, it immediately activates her skill effects at the start of the battle, which will last for 2 turns. In short, her kit is one of the most unique and well-rounded in terms of overall utility and has just about everything you would want in a support character.
Cloud Knight generals are all such a hassle.
For Xuan's most optimal light cone, she already shut her eyes, is by far and away her best option. Her signature light cone increases her HP and energy regeneration rate, while also increasing the damage dealt by allies once her HP is reduced. On top of all of this, she already shut her eyes will also heal all allies based on a percentage of HP lost by the holder for every new wave of enemy that enters battle. Not only does Xuan's kit bring elements of the path of preservation, harmony, and destruction, but if you add in her light cone, you can add abundance to this list. I can confidently say that having Xuan with her signature light cone will be more than enough to self-sustain your team on her own. Now for those who do not warp on the light cone banner, there are some other decent options for you to utilize. A good 5-star option is Japard's signature light cone, Moment of Victory, that initially increases her defense and effect hit rate by 24%. The effect hit rate is a wasted stat as she utilizes the quantum element, but the light cone itself is still very good, in my opinion. In addition to the initial defense boost, the holder has an increased chance of being attacked, and if they are, it'll increase the holder's defense by a further 24% until the end of the wearer's turn. My favorite option is actually an F2P one in Texture of Memories, which can be obtained from Her to Shop. This light cone will give you an increase in effect res and also grant the holder a shield when they are attacked that is based on a percentage of their HP. This shield will last for 2 turns. On top of that, if the wearer has a shield and is attacked, they will take decreased damage. This light cone not only brings great value because it can be easily superimposed, but it seems to be made for Xuan as she is a preservation character that runs without creating shields herself. This can really help with her own survivability, and I think this is a top tier option for those that can't obtain her signature light cone. And if you're short on Herta's bonds, some 4-star options I would recommend are We Are Wildfire, Landau's Choice, and This Is Me. We Are Wildfire is an F2P 4-star option from the Forgotten Hall shop that decreases damage dealt to all allies for the first 5 turns of the battle, and restores HP to the team equal to a percentage of the character's max HP and current HP. Landau's Choice is pretty simplistic yet effective light cone, increasing the chance the wearer is attacked and reducing the damage taken from enemy attacks. Finally, This Is Me is a great option if you are looking to build a sub DPS Xuan, as it will increase the damage of her ultimate by a percentage of her defense stat. This light cone will also give an initial 16% boost to her defense. Overall, Xuan has quite an assortment of 4-star, F2P, and 5-star options that she can utilize that I think could be quite effective with her kit.
Cloud Knight generals are all such a hassle.
In terms of trace priority, my recommendation would be to invest in her skill first, talent second, ultimate third, and basic attack last. Since her skill is the central part of her kit, making this the first priority with your materials just makes sense. Her talent is next, as this will help with her team's survivability as well as her self-healing restoration. Fu Xuan's ultimate is third, as this is her main source of damage output, and if you are wanting to make her a sub DPS, this can be equal in priority to her talent. And last but not least is her basic attack. Although she will be using this quite often to create skill points for her team, it still doesn't justify investing into. I would personally recommend just focusing on the first 3 parts of her kit with the limited resources you have. Fu Xuan's bonus traces are unreal when it comes to utility. Her Ascension 2, 4, and 6 bonus traces all play a pivotal role in her team's survivability and her own energy regeneration. Her Ascension 2 trace, Taya, grants her 20 extra energy when she uses her skill while Matrix of Prescience is active. Now you're probably wondering why you would use her skill while it is still active, and the reason for that would be to get her ultimate up faster and thus activate her other bonus traces, which ties directly into her Ascension 4 trace. Dunjia, as it's called, heals all allies based on a percentage of her HP, plus a flat amount when Fu Xuan uses her ultimate, thus adding a consistent healing element to her kit. Her Ascension 6 trace, Liren, helps your team withstand crowd control debuffs while the Matrix of Prescience is active. This can only be triggered one time for each time her skill is used. But once Fu Xuan resets the Matrix through the use of her skill, this bonus trace can become active again. I can honestly say that not one bonus trace that is listed on her kit is a waste or isn't impactful. In fact, I would say that it touches every aspect of what you would want in a support, from supporting other team members' damage output to helping mitigate damage taken through healing and damage reallocation.
Cloud Knight generals are all such a hassle.
For Fu Xuan, her relics aren't as simple as one might imagine. Since she doesn't provide shields to her allies, the 4-piece Knights of Purity Palace goes out the door. So what is her next best option? For a support build, my personal recommendation is to go for the 2-piece Longevous Disciple and 2-piece Guard of Weathering Snow. The Longevous Disciple will give her an HP boost to help with her survivability and damage output, while the 2-piece Guard bonus will help her take reduced damage. If you are looking for a damage dealing Fu Xuan build, my personal recommendation is to go for the 4-piece Genius of Brilliant Stars, as it's one of the best sets in the game. Being able to get an increase in quantum damage by 10%, but also ignoring 20% of an enemy's defenses is unparalleled. For planar ornaments, we can look at a couple different support sets that I think she can utilize well. The Broken Keel set is very useful when she's the only health sustaining unit on your team. Emphasizing effect res is very good, especially since she doesn't want to get crowd controlled as a solo sustaining unit. Add to that the 10% crit damage you can give to your allies once effect res equals or exceeds 30%, and you have a great set not only for herself, but her allies as well. The other planar ornament set I wanted to talk about is the Fleet of the Ageless, which increases the user's max HP by 12%, and when the user's speed reaches 120 or higher, all allies' attack stat will increase by 8%. This is quite optimal since you want her to have high speed to utilize her skill before your DPS units attack. Thus, it'll be quite easy to hit that 120 speed threshold and giving your allies that attack increase. For the body and boot piece for Fu Xuan, we will most likely be wanting HP percent and speed respectively. As we mentioned with the Fleet of the Ageless set, having Fu Xuan utilize her skill before our DPS units take action is optimal for her kit, and the HP percent body piece works well with her kit scalings. For the planar sphere, I would recommend HP percent to increase her healing and damage capabilities, while for the link rope, you can opt for HP percent, but I also wouldn't mind going for the ERR rope here, so you can get your ultimate up faster to always have the option to heal other units. I think for myself personally, I would lean towards the ERR rope.
Cloud Knight generals are all such a hassle.
In an ideal world where Fu Xuan is the solo health sustaining unit on your team, she can slide into pretty much any team comp and provide immense value. However, for the purposes of this video, I did want to highlight 3 teams that I think she can be very good in. My personal favorite is a Mono Quantum team with Seal, Silverwolf, and Lynx, or QQ as a sub DPS, a Jingyuan Hypercarry team, and a Danhong IL skill point positive team. The Mono Quantum team is very optimal for those that want to utilize the quantum weakness and its break effect power. Although you don't really need Lynx to be able to keep the team alive, the reason why I slot her in here is because of Silverwolf's skill. With 4 users of the quantum element, her skill has a 100% chance to apply the quantum weakness to any enemy you face. Running this team presents 2 ideal scenarios. One is that you never have to worry about what weakness your enemy has when facing them, and 2 is that you can constantly barrage your enemies with quantum attacks to get more weakness breaks. You can make the argument that this team is her best in slot, but regardless, you can't deny how easy and efficient this team is when it comes to fighting enemies. Fu Xuan can slot into any hypercarry team where the main DPS is very skill point negative, and in the case of our 2 husbandos, Jingyuan and Danhong IL, they would be very welcome to her presence. In the case of Jingyuan, he would benefit greatly from Fu Xuan just from her crowd control abilities. Since the general's damage output is inherent on his Lightning Lord being able to get off his follow-up attack, it is imperative that Jing Yuan doesn't get crowd controlled. With Fu Shan's Matrix of Presence being able to mitigate crowd control debuffs once per skill activation, this can be a great preventative measure to guarantee Jing Yuan doesn't succumb to crowd control. Now you're probably asking yourself, well, why can't I just use Natasha or Locha's skill to get rid of the debuff? And that's true, you can. But what makes Fu Shan better, in my opinion, is the fact that her crowd control abilities are proactive and not reactive. Locha and Natasha have to wait till Jing Yuan is debuffed to cleanse him, while Fu Shan takes the steps to protect him before it even happens. For Dan Hong Il, she works great in his team for all the support capabilities she provides, but she is also very skill point positive. Being able to generate 3 skill points through the use of her basic attacks after utilizing her skill, she can help Dan Hong Il constantly attack with 3 enhancements when pairing them up with Ting Yun and Pila. There isn't anything overtly special when it comes to their synergy, unlike Seal and Jing Yuan, but she is just a very solid tank and skill point battery for a Dan Hong Il hypercarry team.
Cloud Knight generals are all such a hassle.
And with that, this will end our pre-release full build and guide video on Fu Shan. If you weren't already convinced that she's an amazing unit to add to your account, hopefully this guide helps shed some light into how she could be an SS tier unit right out of the gate. But if you like the content, please like and subscribe. Comment down below if you are pulling for Fu Shan and what Eidolons or Lightcones you are hoping to get for her. If I do end up winning my 50-50, I will definitely be saving my Herta's Bonds for texture and memories while utilizing my S2 Landau's Choice in the meantime. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.